students of Reddit, what was your school's big scandal? There was a white kid who had a black baby mannequin to take care of for a week for some project to see if he would be a responsible parent. He hung the baby on a tree outside of the school. Expelled and made news on the local paper. My high school did a block lunch where everyone ate lunch at the same time instead of separating them into A, B, C lunches. Because our cafeteria couldn't fit the entire student body. It was normal for kids to be eating in the hallway, on the floor, or at tables all throughout the school. One day during lunch, unbeknownst to the staff and student body, our AP decided to hold a lockdown drill. He got on the intercom and told everyone there was an active shooter in the cafeteria in order to see how kids would react had it been a real shooting. Turned into pure anarchy. Kids calling 911. Running out of school and not returning to class after the drill was over. Kids having anxiety attacks while hiding in classrooms. Dying calls from students to parents. It was pretty bad. Should I mention how this was several days after the Parkland shooting? Edit. My history teacher blackmailed the girls who weren't doing so good on his class. He exchanged good grades for nudes. Had a few. High school math teacher got a DUI on a tractor and was fired. PE and CS teacher had an affair while both were married to other people. They eventually both divorced and ended up marrying each other. Accounting teacher married a student about a week after she graduated. Rumor was that they were already sleeping together when she was 16 and she was pregnant before graduation as well by the teacher. At the end of my senior year, we had bomb threats about 2-3 times a week. One of them was written in lipstick on the mirror of one of the girls' bathrooms. It said, "Bomb Minana." It was so ridiculous. Like this had us standing out in a grass field for hours while the police checked the building. Edit. This was in Florida. We probably didn't go to the same school. I'd be surprised if anyone from that podunk ass school was on Reddit. Were they trying to say manana? The summer after I graduated, the principal was caught propositioning underage teenage male prostitutes. Turns out my geography teacher was a pedophile with several thousand accounts of child pornography on their computer. A bunch of seniors were having a graduation party in the woods. One of them passed out drunk, rolled into a 6-inch deep culvert and drowned. They didn't notice he died until morning. Edit. From the comments. In hell. Just how common is this sort of thing? Someone burned down one of our buildings. Oh, I forgot all about the student crime. In middle school, a kid broke in one night to the building with the library. He piled up a bunch of books and set them on fire. Plus he stole some stuff. One of the things he stole was a t-shirt from a fundraiser display. He got busted because he wore the shirt, a shirt no one else would have. A string of deaths 3 years in a row was finally broken when some guy jumped out a 2-story building but lived. In middle school, the athletics director was caught putting cameras in the girls' locker room. Teacher sent nudes to a kid because the kid pretended to be a different person on a dating website. Teacher left. Kid was expelled. Some kids didn't want to take a state-mandated test, so they lit fireworks off in the bathroom. But they didn't realize how quickly they would explode and all 3 of them got burned. The whole school had to stand outside for hours. It was in 2007. But my high school had a string of bomb threats. There was a bathroom where no cameras could see who went in or out. And someone wrote in Sharpie across one of the stall doors, "There's a bomb in the school with that day's date." The school was evacuated. And we all went home. For the next few months, there was a bomb threat seemingly every Friday. We'd be in the middle of the first or second period. Then we'd all go home. After we missed enough days, we all had to come in on several Saturdays. And the bomb threats stopped. This actually came out during my last semester there. But it had been happening for years. One of the English teachers had been having sex with a few select students every year. Most were football players. It got really weird. When I had her class, it wouldn't be out of place if a student from another class asked to go to the bathroom and just went to her room to see her. One day some kid brought her a drink from McDonald's because he was late to school and got breakfast. It only came out because there was this one girl who was in an argument with her for some reason and said something along the lines of, "That's why you're students." And the whole incident got brought up to the office and they interviewed everyone. Found out she'd had sex with multiple students for the past few years. Edit. I've been getting a lot of comments asking if this was in. All I'll say is that it was in Georgia. Some students put pins into the sewing teacher's coffee. Luckily the teacher was okay, but it definitely could have been worse. In high school, a female dance teacher had a sexual relationship with a 15-year-old female student. The dance teacher and her husband had a threesome with said student and videotaped it. The husband also got a tattoo of the 15-year-old girl's initials. We had a senior male student in my high school who knocked up a freshman and the Spanish teacher within like a week of each other. Dios mío. Not my school, but the small town high school where my kids now attend. Married female office admin says up a female student. Goes to jail for a few years. 10 years later, husbands of both women find out they have secret cell phones and have been carrying on a relationship off and on since the older one got out of prison. I've posted it before but having a hard time finding it. Anyways. An English teacher slapped a kid in class and retired that week. A girl got pregnant and told everyone the father was our English teacher. Turns out, now, no one even knows who the father is. Her included. The biology teacher was having an affair with the principal. Yeah, my principal was having sex with every teacher. I was homeschooled. Though. It's downright wholesome to see age-appropriate sex scandals in schools. A 16-year-old sending nudes to a 12-year-old in a Baptist school. Girl attempted suicide in the girls' bathroom. Guy got caught having sex with a teammate in the locker room after practice. 3 girls caught snorting cocaine in the bathroom. Someone was boinking a teacher but we never found out who. Teacher resigned. Someone put red hot in the hand dryer in the boys' bathroom and it caught fire. 4 years of school. 3 fire alarm balls. Growing up in a 3K population town in the middle of nowhere was crazy as hell sometimes. These events were over my 4 years of high school. Edit. 3 fire alarms due to actual fires. Teacher sucked a kid's dick during my senior year. He showed a few people the video. Then he proceeded to move to California. Empty balls make safe halls. This got more attention than I thought, so I have to credit Andrew Schultz for the joke. 2 years ago, a senior brought an RSX doll for Secret Santa. He then brought it to the senior room and essentially had a fake gangbang with it with 20 other people. That's just group masturbation with extra steps. When I was in primary school, 9-year-old, a kid from 1st grade caught my teacher and the principal doing it in his office. MRS. Crabappel and Principal Skinner were in the closet making babies. And I saw one of the babies. A woman with severe medical issues, both physical and mental deficiencies, snuck away from her group home and hid in the broom closet of our cafeteria for 2 days. She ate all of our garlic bread, took someone's jacket, and walked out 36 hours later. This was in 2007. We didn't have cameras or anything and no one saw her go in or out. They only knew she was there because the jacket had the name of the high school, and when she was found she straight up told the police she had been hiding in there for 2 days. The group home said she had been missing for roughly a day and a half. My sophomore year of high school, the gym teacher's brother gets hired as the computer teacher. Nice guy. Was personable. Not as much as his brother, but still. 2/3 through the year he just vanishes and most of the teachers don't want to talk about it. Eventually it gets out that when he was in college, the computer teacher got into a barroom brawl. During the brawl he took a pool ball, put it inside of a sock, swung it and smashed a guy in the head with it. The guy who get hit had permanent brain damage. The school found out midway through the year and that is why they let him go. Can you imagine the thought process it would take to conclude that your best course of action in a bar brawl was to take off a shoe, take off a sock, stuff a pool ball into it, and then hit someone? Bro. There was a male head of year who was gay and had sexual relations with a guy who was a minor without knowing he was a minor. He left the school but I believe did not face any legal repercussions because it was clear that he had been deceived into thinking the individual was an adult could legally give consent. Happened to a friend of mine. Met at a party. He was 18, she claimed to be 17. They hooked up. A month later she thinks she's pregnant and her parents end up getting the story out of her. Turns out she was 14. Yeah. She ended up not being pregnant, thank God, but her parents filed charges against him. He was never convicted. BC there were enough witnesses that could back him up from the party and I even think she eventually caved and went on record stating she had lied about her age. I had to give a statement. It all worked out in the end but it was a scary few months there. Couple things happened at my school. One of the pay teachers basically sexually assaulted a lot of girls while teaching gymnastics. We also had like 10 people from the same grade picked up by police because they were selling drugs in school, and I mean like a lot of drugs. Was during my sophomore year. A male super senior was having sex with a female freshman in the women's restroom. The hell is a super senior? We currently have a lawsuit against our district. The nurses are claiming harassment against an intermediate principal. And the district refused to step in. Apparently the nurses caught him having an affair and told his wife. He pinned one against a wall and demanded to see her phone. Not that juicy. But the basketball coach Jim's ex-ED teacher was a teacher who clearly hated working with we little s like us. So some of us did some investigating how he came to be our phys ed teacher. Turns out he had been a basketball coach for one of the top university teams in the country just 5 blocks away from our school. But he violated ethics codes by playing players who were academically unable to play and had evidence of him talking to professors about their grades. Got sacked and our high school basketball scholarship private type jumped at the opportunity to pick up a coach banned from university leagues. Of course he'd have to run gym class and teach 13-year-olds about their changing bodies as well. Team student in our engineering school was making high quality meth to pay for his schooling. Got caught his senior year right before graduation. You know he couldn't have done it himself. I feel like your science teacher, Mr. White, may have helped him. I guess the biggest scandal was when a teacher tried to kill herself and failed. A kid was trying to get initiated into the Bloods. Part of this is committing a serious act of violence, so he brought a Glock to school and tried to kill the school resource officer. Principal tackled him the second he saw him pull out the pistol. Everybody hated the principal until that day. On the lighter side, the vice principal wrecked his car one night coming back from a school football game. Somehow he had managed to hit a dead cow on the side of the road. For the rest of the year he got subjected to random moves when he walked down the halls. Teacher and student were arguing about something. Student got in teacher's face. Teacher yelled at him to get out. Student said no. Teacher spat in student's face. Student pushed him against blackboard. Video ends. This class was hella annoying though. There are so many videos about them harassing the teacher. One guy rolled a cig in class next to the teacher. I think he was expelled and multiple students as well. I'm out of school now. But in high school it was discovered that a student had attempted to print the statistics exam to study before the test. This was found out in the morning when the teachers went into the math office. Put more paper in the printer and out came the exam that the stats teacher did not print. Now, cheating at my high school was punishable by expulsion, so the teachers all flipped out. This was fall exam, so we had a whole year of school assemblies where we all got talked to. I was a sophomore at the time and only seniors took stats. But they were basically trying to get anyone who knew something to talk. No one ever said a word. No one guy got in trouble. Nothing. We even talked about it after the seniors graduated and no one knew anything. So on the day ahead of a huge event that was going to happen in the auditorium of our school, someone had on the audio equipment in the auditorium of our school and it ended up not working anymore. The principal announced that anyone who was a witness and who could tell them who the culprit is would receive $500 away from the school. Turns out it was someone from our neighboring class, and probably 8-10 guys from that class went into the principal's office to rat him out and receive the money. Just that the majority of them who went there were just claiming to have witnessed it to receive money as well. The guy got expelled from school and had to pay for new audio equipment, which was probably at least around $3,000-4,000. Though I DK whether everyone who ratted him out ended up receiving the $500 or not. 3 popular students from my high school were drinking and driving and speeding around town. Eventually they drove into a tree doing 120 km/h and they all died on impact. 3 pages in the yearbook. An assembly. Counseling. Memorial. And a day off from school for 3 guys who endangered the lives of others. About 6 months later a student got hit by a car speeding through the school zone while he was crossing the street. This kid wasn't popular by any means. Mostly kept to themselves, but he was a nice guy and was really into music and computers. Not a single mention in the yearbook. No announcement. No assembly. No counseling for the people that knew him. No memorial. Nothing. It became very apparent the popularity contest among teachers and the favoritism they showed the more popular students. The principal actually had to step down the year after I graduated due to her personal interest conflicting with her professional responsibilities. Well, there are a bunch of kids who smoke and vape in the bathrooms. But last year the physics teacher had a huge thing for underage girls. This happened in the early 90s before the internet. There was a student teacher, an education major from university, doing her practicum in the classroom, in her early 20s, that some of the seniors ran into at the bar one night. Drinking age is 18 where I live. Lots of drinking happened. She went back to a party afterward and got photographed having a threesome with 2 of the students. Photocopies of the Polaroid flooded the school. She was gone pretty much immediately. The administration swept it all under the rug. And anyone caught with a copy of the Polaroid was threatened with expulsion. Our school cheerleaders on a pizza and balled little turds up to look like sausage and sent it to the rival school. Edit. Yo, some of y'all got weird fetishes. Leave me out of it and quit DMing for pics of the cheerleaders. That was like 14 years ago. Which one? Semicolon. 1. Teacher arrested for stealing money using an ATM card he stole. 2. 2 teachers, married to other people, having a long-term affair. 3. Teacher having 2-year SIL relationship with a student. She turns 18 and graduates. He quits. Divorces wife and marries her. 4. Chem teacher nearly blows up the school. Twice. 5. Health teacher baseball coach comes to work. Drinks a glass full of Jack Daniels and sleeps for 2 hours daily. 6. Freshman girl caught getting spit roasted in the weight room. 7. Band teacher has all male students, no girls, sleep at his house after each out of town competition. Surprise. He's molesting them. 8. Bipolar teacher goes off her meds and goes crazy at school. Curse out class. Tax principal and cops haul her away. The biggest scandal there ever was in my school was on the news. Some student left a racist and homophobic note on a black gay teacher's desk. It basically said that he should be ashamed of being gay and that little black pussies shouldn't be allowed in a school. Really bad. Reporters were all over the school. The teacher filed a report to the cops, but they were never able to catch the one who did it. This one is just really sad. IT teacher stay behind to supervise the installation of the new IT lab. Celebrated by having a cheeky smoke. Burnt the new lab and the rest of the building down. I went to a private high school in the States. One day the kids of the owner of the largest grocery store chain in my area were called out of class. Our principal had been suspected of killing his wife but not charged. We were all sure he was involved. A cop was having sex with a teenage high school girls. Someone spray painted on the side of the movie theater building. Then the cop was a cashier at 7/11 not long after. 2 kids basically blackmailed an English teacher to send them nudes. She said no multiple times that she wasn't, then told the principal she was sending nudes. Teacher got forced to resign. Everyone hated those kids. When I was in high school, the geometry teacher was having sex with students. The wrestling coach was having sex with a freshman. The history teacher was keeping child pornography in his desk, and the FFA teacher was allowing students at his house, supplying them with alcohol and letting them look at pornography on his computer. Edit. This was in 2006. A bit late to the party. But in my high school we had 6 suicides over the course of 3 years. If I remember correctly, there was 1 week that 3 students committed suicide. 2 of them within 24 hours of each other. Our principal ended up retiring because of it. One of those was a friend of mine who had hung himself over the summer. The toughest part about it was that he had an identical twin. Had to stop myself numerous times from calling out my friend's name. Someone ate herself with a corn on the cob and sent pictures to other people around the school. She was 14. Not my school but a friend's. Apparently a celebrity rapper, don't remember who. Not really into the rap scene, visited. Except he showed up high. Kept violating terms of his contract. Didn't even perform the whole time. Ed a freshman girl. Then left. This is a college by the way. So freshmen are adults. But still. Close bracket. Edit. So many guesses. Almost all different rappers at different schools. None of them right. How many rappers are going around eyeing college girls while stoned? Is the rap scene okay? This was late 80s in a pretty conservative town in the south. Janitor went into the choir room at my high school and saw that a camcorder was set up on a tripod. He thought it was odd BC stuff like that was supposed to be locked up in the AV room when not in use. He rewound it a bit and watched it. Turns out the uber Christian choir director had filmed himself dancing in front of the camera while cross-dressing. He was gone within the week. Someone nailed a photoshopped pic, almost real looking, of one of our teachers sucking a dick along with a used condom onto the school notice board. She was pretty young compared to the rest of the teachers. And the moment she came to know about this, she started crying and went to wall for almost 3 weeks. Then, one day she comes to our class, says goodbye to us and leaves the school permanently. She was one of the best teacher in school and literally every student had a crush on her. We felt pretty bad for what happened with her. It's a shame that whoever did that was never caught. When I was in middle school over 14 years ago, our principal got arrested in school for stealing kids Adderall and Ritalin. This was back when if you took medicine, you had to go to the office to have it given to you. Parents were wondering why their kids' meds were running out before the script ended when it was being given to their kids by the staff. They installed cameras without his knowledge and caught him. Frost Middle School. Edit. I found the link of the article they wrote about this. But I'm new and don't quite know how to add it. If you want a fact check I can send it through a message perhaps. Not my current school. But an teacher was fired for cheating on his wife with ex-students. 2 sixth form students. It wasn't even their final form. To run for student office, you had to get a petition signed by a certain number of people. There was a kid running who was liked pretty well among the school and was the only returning cabinet member. He was considered the overwhelming favorite for ASB president. However, the teacher in charge of overseeing ASB disqualified his candidacy because some of his signatures weren't legible. This is the first time something like this happened. The girl he was supposed to run against was that teacher's favorite student. I ended up writing an article for the school paper about the situation and several other similar situations that this teacher was involved in. It was blocked from being published. Oh god. So many. 1. An 11th grader allegedly got a 9th header pregnant. She got $1,800 from him. It comes out she lied. Another girl beat the out of her in front of the whole school too. Kid pulls knife on teacher. Teacher puts kid in chokehold. Other kid has to pull teacher off kid 3. School caught fire at least 3 times a year 4. A kid started a Snapchat countdown for a car part. Everyone thought it was a gun. School got shut down 5.